All right, ready to roll.
Yes.
Mill, thank you for being here. Big Sky Eats. What is it? What can you tell me about it?
So I am a content creator focusing on lifestyle and food and beverage, predominantly in Montana, Bozeman. But I love going to different states around. I travel. I was recently in Spain, but it is focused on food and beverage. Based out of Bozeman.
How did it start? It's obviously you've grown and you've got a name and a following for yourself. How did this start and how did yeah, where did it begin? Was it intentional or did it just sort of evolve?
Great question. So it's something I've wanted to do for years. I've lived in Korea for 2 years. And that was back in 2016, and that's when the thought of starting some sort of having an internet presence came to mind. I was discouraged at the time, and then time and time again, even during COVID, I was cooking a ton. I thought about it, didn't do it, and then this time around, I was like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So
Yeah.
just having the courage to do it. First photo was at Mark's In and Out in Livingston in my car.
Do you know if are they still open for the season or no?
It's August. I think they are.
Yeah,
They should be.
very cool. And now it's kind of grown all over Bozeman and Southwest Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where, like, I know you did some stuff at Big Sky. Where has this journey or this taken you?
It's been so cool. And a lot of people ask me, where do I want this to go? And the truth is that I am open to whatever comes my way. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm selective in what I agree to, but the possibilities, the opportunities are just endless. So I've worked with Big Sky Resort. That was super fun. I was on a billboard, which
Yeah.
I thought was hilarious. Doing things that I love. So I started going to Savor Big Sky. It was actually my birthday weekend, and I was like, that's what I wanted to do. And from that first one, it was their first Savor Big Sky. I got to meet some of the staff. They reached out, and I've worked with them for the past 2 years.
From from someone that follows your page, you're a resource to them essentially, and what you're showcasing different places to eat different types of food and kind of the culture and food in Southwest Montana and all over the place.
Yeah.
Is that right or no?
What's your question?
So what I mean, like with somebody who follows your page, are they generally following it so they can find out different places to eat, see what the food scene is? Like I'm guessing what's the demographic of someone who follows you,
Yeah.
if you know it.
I My angle and what I like to focus on are two different things. One, I like when there's a new restaurant in town or a new menu, I like to be the person that is one of the first ones to know about it and showcase it, and create that buzz. The other piece to it is the farm to table aspect. And you do have a lot of restaurants here that have the farm to table aspect,
Yep.
but it's more so going to a farm to table dinner on a farm or on
Yeah.
a ranch. Chef M with Mountain Provisions, she does that a ton, and there's a lot of different chefs starting to do that.
Yep.
And I know that they've done it in the past as well, but things like that, some sort of an experience, is what I like to showcase because I've gotten messages and comments, and it's like, oh, I didn't know this was happening. So if I can be the voice for these events and things like that, I mean, that's what I like to do.
Very cool. Because I know you've done stuff with Bodie Farms, correct? And they came on the podcast earlier and somewhere in the line of episodes, but you've done stuff with them, right?
Yeah, they're so wonderful. Yes, the last thing I did with them was the 8-course bison dinner. That's where I met Matt and Sarah. I had the best
Oh, nice.
table.
Nice.
Matt and Sarah with North Bridger
Oh, very
Bison.
cool. Yep.
It was just such a great table, and it was just so rich, like the conversations, the connections, and
Yeah.
everyone is kind of on the same page. And that's also why I love these types of dinners. You just get like-minded people.
Yeah.
So it was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if there's a business or a restaurant out here, will they usually contact you and say, hey, I'm opening up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that? How does that process work if there's restaurants or chefs that are interested in getting in touch with you?
Yeah, so I get quite a number of inbound. So people will either DM me or through my Instagram, they can email me. There's my emails on it. Or I keep my eye out. I am reading articles. I am following different pages. I am seeing who, like, even if I pass a place, I like bookmark it on my map, go back to it, and I'll reach out. And I said, hey, I know, like, this is my page. I would love to have you guys on it. Or they already know about it. So
How do you sift through it, like all the inquiries? Is there any, like, do you kind of give anything a chance? Do you have some parameters? I'd imagine this has been a learning experience as you.
It has. It really all has been a learning experience, but it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's cool because there is no manual to this, you know? I think what I think about when I'm going through it is stay true to myself and what I believe in. And if something makes me feel uncomfortable and I really don't agree with what it is, or I didn't like what it was, then I just won't post about it. But yeah, with inquiries, it's, you know, you have the discovery call, find out what the goals are, what's the initiative, how long will this strategy go on? Is it a month? Is it one post? Is it 3 posts? Is it a 3-month thing? Is it once a year? So just understanding what they're looking for and also understanding the message and then working with them that way.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show. What would you say has been like the biggest thing you didn't expect? Maybe you already said it with the billboard. But
Yeah.
Has there been anything that you just really surprised you? Maybe as far as restaurants that exist, or just as far as the whole experience? I know I'm asking you like thought-provoking questions that you probably don't have answers, but if you do.
It's a great question. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I think in general, because I feel like when I first started doing this, I know that there has been people in the past that have done content creation for food and beverage. But as I've been doing it, there hasn't been that many. So it's been really nerve-wracking to ask for the business or ask for the opportunity. And whenever I get that yes, it's just it's just this incredible feeling. And it's just like, okay, I'm on the right path and people are actually watching this. Because honestly, I forget people actually look at my page and pay attention to it. And I kind of like that mindset where it's just, let me just throw things out there.
Yeah.
And that way I don't feel that pressure.
I do a very similar thing with the podcast because I put these episodes out and I try to be very in the moment and present when I'm having these conversations. And then someone might mention something that I said or something, and did I say that? I almost have to go back because your memory will play tricks on you. At least mine will. So yeah, I think that's a great way to approach it, is to just be in the moment and put it out there.
Yeah. I have learned speed is important, and I need to practice that.
In the sense of?
In the sense of posting. I have so much content. And I think part of my thought process is I want it to be perfect, or it could be maybe someone's going to make fun of this post, or I'm afraid what others will think. And honestly, it's just post.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about this earlier. It's like, that's how you'll learn, and you have to start from somewhere. And if I go back to my first videos or photos, it's just completely different from where it is now. And it's only going to get better. Yeah. So.
I think it was like probably over 2 years ago, the first recorded podcast that we ever published. Myself, my friend Kyle, and my mother was our guest. Oh. Bless her soul. And like to look back and hear the audio quality and everything, it's come a long way now, but you got to start somewhere.
You do, and it takes courage and vulnerability, but why not?
Yeah, especially when you're putting things out on social media. It's very, very public.
Yeah, it is. I think too, whenever I post anything, I look at it and I'm just like, okay, do I like this? Do I agree with this? At the end of the day, not everyone's going to like it, and that's okay.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I've realized too is I might not even agree with what I said. Like a year later, I might be like, yeah,
Okay.
that was what I thought then.
Yeah.
I've evolved. So, you know, please applaud me for my growth. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Everyone changes and hopefully improves. So,
Right. And I think also on the flip side, I think being in this courageous, vulnerable space, it's also inspiring to others.
for sure. Yeah.
You know, because I see others on social media or anything that others are doing, creating anything, you know, you see their growth and it's just like, you just root for them.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see the growth.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So if you were going to give any advice, say to restaurants or chefs or food places out here in what you've experienced since you've got some experience going to these different restaurants and all these, you know, these farm to table dinners, any of it, is there anything that sticks out that you think makes the experience, whether it's the food specifically or just the experience, that like you think is just very important? And this is kind of a subjective question, but
Yeah.
just something that you've observed or you've noticed that, man, that makes it so much better, or man, that can really ruin the whole experience.
I think it goes down to staff and the attentiveness and the detail or attention to detail. Something as simple as my glass of water
Yeah.
not being filled. I think it's important for a server to pay attention to small details like that. And so I used to manage a group back in New York. I did events and stuff like that. And I would always tell them, have CEO eyes. Pretend that you're the CEO and you're looking at everything, right? And that just kind of sets the tone and the mindset for them to have those eyes as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's important.
I think that's great advice. I'm almost through an audiobook on, what is it? Unreasonable Hospitality. Have you read that one or heard?
No.
It's pretty dense, like, and it's, you know, it's about the restaurant industry, but it's very, and I'm in hospitality myself, but it's the million little details, and somehow, you know, from the top down, how you get that through your whole culture. I find it really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so interesting. And honestly, it's such a tough industry. They work so hard. I feel like being in this role that I'm in now, I've learned a lot of behind the scenes. Everyone works so hard.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get that there are times that they're short staff. I think just being patient, like whoever's working and they're short staff, just be patient with themselves. Hopefully customers are, you know, also mindful of that. Cause
Yeah.
that's just, I don't know.
It's tricky.
Yeah. And I understand, like, as a customer, you want a good experience, but sometimes you also got to be patient.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's a real juxtaposition, because you want it right away, but then you want quality. So like, what's the balance? Because if it's fast food, it's not going to be luxury dining. So,
Right.
you know, but like somewhere in the middle is that balance.
Yeah.
So you're from New York, and I can take that out if you want me to.
No. I love that I'm from New York.
Good.
Loud and proud.
I am as well, and good. What's being here in Montana, seeing the food scene, the culture. What's the biggest contrast that you noticed in a positive way?
I would say it's the quality of food.
Okay.
A lot of restaurants, as I mentioned, are farm to table. I think it's the coolest when you go to a restaurant and you know that your beef came from a local ranch, or your produce came from a local farm and things like that, or your cheese. And it's not that New York doesn't have that, but there's so many restaurants in New York that not all of them are farm to table.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where it came from. And it's funny because when I moved here, I started to learn how close we were to the land and or like the food that's on our plate, because it was locally sourced. And then I would go to other places, other states, and I'm just like, well, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe it's a truck
Yeah, I don't
from
think
U.S. Foods, but
no, I could see that, especially in New York and in the cities. You think about the table to mouth experience,
yeah,
because I mean, there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of fine dining and but there's such a big disconnect from how that food got to that plate and where it started. And it might be a healthy option as far as the type of food, but it might not be a healthy option as
right,
far as how that food was produced.
right.
So
There was I don't watch this show, but I remember watching this clip from Portlandia
okay,
where I think they're a couple or maybe they're friends. They go out to dinner and they're like, where did this chicken come from?
yeah,
And I think it's before I moved here. And so they like go to the farm, they make sure it was a free range chicken and all this thing. And now I understand where that thought comes from. Because in New York, you don't I mean, I didn't think about it at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up on a dairy farm, so I thought about it all the time.
So cool.
One of the guests I had on Jacobus, I brought him raspberries from my backyard this morning because he gave me some really good like raspberries. It was some kind of pie with fruit in it yesterday that his wife made yesterday. He's like, I got some fresh raspberries I got to bring you. But it's very cool when you're that connected to where your food comes from.
Yeah. And then there's also obvious differences. It's a
Yeah.
ginormous city with a town that's 50,000 people or
Yeah.
55.
And I think particularly Bozeman, just because it's definitely the hub of Montana and the university here. Like the food scene's pretty impressive for being in the middle of the country in Montana.
I agree. And what I've heard through this journey is that the food scene is growing and we're kind of at a peak or we're on an upward trajectory, where in the past, I think like even 5 years ago, maybe I'll just say 5 to 10 years ago, there weren't this many options.
Yeah.
I will say, here's a difference. The diversity of the food. There's not much here.
Okay.
I think a lot of it, and that's why I think I gravitate towards these farm to table dinners where it's a set menu and like the chef creates the menu type of thing, because it's a different experience and it's something new and different versus a lot of, I think, you're going to get your Mountain West
Yeah.
cuisine.
Yeah. And this is my opinion too, but like Bozeman and Southwest Montana compared to the rest of the state is probably like very diverse. Like,
Well, for sure.
yeah. And then it's just because kind of the size of the towns and the cities.
Yeah, and the people that are
Yeah.
coming in, lots of transplants that have had, vast experience with other cuisines and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Just the amount of sushi. There's I mean, some pretty good Mexican food now. My buddy Kyle, he's from Southern California, so he's like, in his opinion, he's the one that should be judging, and he's always telling me what the best ones are, but like there's a good selection.
Yeah.
And I don't know, most small towns in Montana, there's a steakhouse,
Yeah.
and then
of
there's
course.
maybe like a bar that also does burgers and steaks.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of burgers. See, yeah, I think my death row meal is gonna definitely be steak.
That's mine too. So
yeah.
yeah, so
And I love steak. But I also like to diversify what I eat.
yeah, that's why. And my thing is, I can like, again, subjective, but I can make the best steak at home. So I'm like,
right,
why do I
right.
need to go? But it's great to support other places, the community as well.
Yeah, I've actually heard that a lot. But I think the beauty of it too is, yes, we live here and that's how we feel. But as a tourist too, or anyone that's visiting, they're able to have good quality, Montana quality, a meal. Like I'm thinking again, cattle ranches or produce. And
Yeah, it's pretty close to my heart growing up on a dairy farm and being that close to the animals and the food. And I have a very different perspective when I'm even at a grocery store, because I'm like, is this like, where did this come from? And is this completely greenwashed, which is a term I'm like fairly new to, but it's giving off the appearance that it was like very holistically and freshly produced versus is this just a marketing label?
Yeah.
And is this coming from a giant factory?
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell in the grocery store, but a lot of these restaurants, it's when you go to the farm and have dinner on the farm, you have a pretty good idea where your food's coming from.
Yeah. That reminds me. So my family's from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And my uncle, I mean, so growing up, I'm one of 4 girls, and my parents owned a business in New York. And when summertime came around, we would always be shipped to the Dominican Republic. And we would hang out with all of our cousins, our aunts and uncles. And one of my uncles at the time had a farm. And there's tons of free-range chicken. And the people that worked on the farm, before we would go horseback riding, they'd just say, hey, like, pick a chicken that you want. And we would pick the chicken. Next thing you know, you go on your ride, you come back, and that chicken's on your plate. And it's like the most succulent chicken ever. But that's as close as I've been to farms and stuff like that.
It's almost like Texas Roadhouse, but not quite.
Yeah, just a smidge different.
Yeah. So I was asking you what you think makes the experience from the restaurant side. If there's a consumer, whether they're local here or traveling, like what do you think is the best way to look at it? Like, how do you get the most out of the food scene in Southwest Montana?
That's a great question. I think so. One of the things that I want to work on for my page, because I do get a lot of messages from people visiting. I've gotten messages. So people are coming in for bachelorettes or bachelor parties, and they want a private chef, things like that. But I think also, even if you're coming with your family and you're staying at an Airbnb, I think the coolest thing would be to buy Montana beef, right?
Yep.
And you can find them in the grocery stores. I know Wickens, they're at the grocery store.
Yep.
And they're here. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are others as well, but they're the ones that come to mind. Or even getting, if you drink, get a Montana liquor, right?
Yeah.
Or so like Bozeman Spirits Distillery, they're made here. Get a Huckleberry vodka and make something at home.
And the beer too, like the brewery
And the
scene.
beer, yeah. So I feel like that's what I would do. So whenever I travel, I like everything local.
Yeah.
As much as I can. So of course you'll go to Costco, you'll get all of that, but I think just be mindful of the meat, right? Just make sure you can go to a local grocery store or order it online and have it shipped to the house.
Yeah. And like B-Bar, Jackson came
Yes.
on. They've got there's so many. There's not a lack of local places you can support out here. And
It's true.
yeah, and even Matt from North Bridger was saying that on the podcast. He said and he wasn't even saying his own. He said any business,
Right.
if you want Montana to stay farmland, support these farms, support these
Yep.
businesses.
Yep.
And then there's some where you can go out and get the whole farm to table experience.
Yes. I think that's so incredibly important. And also regen market. They work with a few ranches as well. There's some options there for meat, and you'll get it delivered.
Yeah.
Straight to your door.
Yeah. I think that's very good advice.
That's what I would do. Because I know that families, and I'm thinking in terms of families, I'm sure that maybe they're not going out to eat every night, but I think it'd be cool if you're visiting, have some time in that Airbnb.
Yeah.
And cook at home, if that's your thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice and a great suggestion.
Thank you.
Is there anything anyone can do to support what you're doing? Is there anything just anything in general besides, follow your content, like your page and share your content?
I am open to feedback all the time. Sometimes I take it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Because if you give me feedback and I don't agree with it, I just don't.
Yeah.
But I love to hear what others have to say at certain points. And
To an extent, everyone.
to an extent, and only be kind. I'm just kidding. I'm okay with whatever it is. That is from from a follower perspective, but I think for businesses, I have a pipeline right now of people that I'm working with, and we have things in the works, which is super exciting.
Yep.
And just reach out if you're a business owner. and again, this is lifestyle and food and beverage. So what I mean by lifestyle is it could be a ranch stay. And what does that look like even for us? You know, we live in a place where people come to vacation.
Yeah.
So I think the coolest thing is to stay at Lone Mountain Ranch or Rainbow Lodge or somewhere nearby.
Have you done the sleigh ride dinner?
I have.
It's fun. It's very cool. Yeah.
It is cool. I've been on so many of them.
That's cool. Yeah.
And honestly, they're just so wonderful. The last one I went on, it was daytime, and I've never done the daytime ones, but I felt like I was in a snow globe because it started snowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there with my best friends from home, which was even more magical.
Yeah.
Because they get to experience this, and it's just such a cool experience.
Yeah, you're making me think of so many. I'm trying to run through the guests. I had 320 Ranch on. They
320 Ranch.
The Chuck Wagon dinner.
Yep.
There's so many good options, kind of no matter where you're staying out here and what you're doing, to really like get a feel for the culture and the food that comes from here. And
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me think as we're talking about these ranches and what we can do here in Montana as a local.
Yep.
I find that as I have these conversations with locals, they don't know half the things that we do.
Yeah.
Or that we can do, or that things that visitors do.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, so being from New York City, I've been to the Statue of Liberty once, but a tourist that goes to New York has probably been to more tourist places than me. So it's that sense, but I feel like it's just so cool to explore.
Yeah. And like, ironically, that's exactly why I started doing this podcast, because of the nature of our business. A lot of times we're the first impression when people fly in here. And then they say, hey, you know, we're here for a week. What can we do? Where can we go? And I think, man, as a local, you know, I eat at home half the time.
Yeah.
What should they do? And then this created this. It was really a void. What are the businesses? What are the places? And now I'm really getting good advice and good resources to then share with these clients.
Right.
But I couldn't agree more, because that's been my exact experiences. Yeah, I know a 320 Ranch, but I don't know what they do. And then when Liam came on, he's like, you should come. We want locals to come.
Yeah.
Come to a Chuck Wagon dinner. Come, and the folks that do the yurt dinners, same thing. They invited us to come check it out, because they want locals and business owners to know about it, to then share it with other people.
Yeah. And you know, also on that note, I've spoken to a few business owners, and what is cool about being a local here is that we do have mud season.
Yeah.
So that is also the time for us locals. And a lot of people do discounts for locals at hotel stays and things like that. I know that Wilson does it, Stage, I believe. They'll do different discounts for locals.
Yeah. Because there's nothing else you can do.
Right. And it is.
Everything else is in mud, and you're just going to make a mess.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's a nice time too, where Montana's a little bit more quiet.
Yeah.
And you can actually enjoy these things. Because, I mean, the summer is so busy, winter's so busy.
Yeah.
And that's just a time for us to kind of kick back. It's kind of hard to do anything else, really.
Yeah, I was just talking with Susie, who runs Western Roots Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And she was saying, like, yeah, sometimes it gets so slow that you're wondering, do I even still have a business? But it's, yeah, you get in that, like, it's so busy, and then it's slow. And I think you're right. That's the perfect time to go check out these different businesses and experiences as a local. And they might give you a better rate just as a local, and because of the time of year to experience them.
I think the rates overall are better.
Yep.
They're way lower. And on top of that, you get a discount.
Yeah. And I think like the Armory does that. They have a discount for locals, and there's different stuff depending on as a local, you're one of the best promoters of all these different
100%.
experiences. And like, that's essentially what you're doing, and what I'm trying to do with this as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The Armory does have those discounts year round all the time for meals and stuff. I don't know about the hotel itself.
Yeah. I heard this from another local that I think him and his wife did it, and they just thought it was just a cool experience to.
Yeah, definitely I think it's 10% anytime you dine, any restaurant at the Armory.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
A lot of people don't know that.
Where do Big Sky Eats, that's your Instagram handle, is that the best place to find most of what you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what I did want to ask you, because I'm before we wrap up is when you just traveled abroad, how was that experience and how does that contrast with what you do? Do you think, does it just change your perspective on food around here? Does it give you a better perspective?
Actually, what I love about it, so what I've realized too, I am moving around and I'm experiencing all these different things, and a lot of business owners are seeing what they're at their business.
Yep.
Where I'm mobile, I'm all over. And so I was in Spain, and the culture there is just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like life matters more than anything else. They take their siestas very seriously. They're out at starting at 9 p.m. That's when dinner starts. And it's just,
9 p.m.? Are they crazy?
It's crazy.
Try to be in bed by 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's so wild out there. And I've been to Spain multiple times. So my sister just moved there and I just went to visit. Gosh, honestly, as I was out there, I was like, I hope that when I'm posting, business owners are looking at this and are just like, that's a great idea. We should implement it. So this is so silly, but basically we got a Macallan and the server told us, they asked us if we wanted chilled, and we said yes. And they brought a bowl of ice and put the Macallan on the ice so that you don't water down the Macallan. And it was just, I think it's an elevated idea. I haven't seen it before, but it's so simple things like that you can learn. There's also all these like hole in the wall. It's also different.
Yeah.
Spain's been around for years and years, and all of Europe.
Yeah. I think that as a business owner, the more it's hard to leave when you're running a business. You have so many responsibilities here, but when you can get out and see a different part of the world and change your perspective and bring that into your business, it can, in my opinion, totally transform in a positive way.
Yeah. And my thought out there, I'm just like, what can I create? This is so cool just to see everything. We'll see.
I think it's a great analogy for life is that when you take humanity at large and the way we do all things and combine them, that's when you can kind of have the ultimate human experience, because you're kind of you're trying to include all of humanity in the business.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Instagram at Big Sky Eats.
Yes.
You have a website?
Not yet. Oh, well,
okay.
I have the handle, the domain, but
as soon as you have it, just tell me and I'll go back and put it in the description. So it'll be there. But find more Mill at Big Sky Eats. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was great.
This was fun.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.